Quick question. If most of your salary went into loan payments, what would you cut first? Groceries, school fees, medicine? That's what Africa's debt crisis looks like. The problem is that African countries are using huge parts of their budget just to repay loans. I spoke to a global policy expert who told me that this year alone, Africa's repayment is massive.
This year, African countries will pay about $88 billion in servicing their debts, and a lot of that is at very high rates.
Many sovereigns have accumulated high debt and high debt burdens, often denoted by foreign currency, while growth has slowed and fiscal revenues are weak.
Most of the countries that are affected by the high cost of debt are largely on the African continent.
This means that many African countries can't pay for schools, hospitals, or even preparing for climate disasters. I get it. Debt sounds complicated, but here's the part that actually affects your everyday life.
What happened in Kenya was that the government couldn't afford to do both, and therefore they paused payments for civil servants. So what ended up happening was teachers were working for free so that Wall Street bankers could get paid.
We chatted to South Africa's finance minister, and he says the crazy part isn't that African countries have more debt than other countries, because they don't. It's actually because African countries have to pay higher rates than Western countries.
There's always a risk attached to the African continent, sometimes an unjustifiable risk, which poses a higher cost of capital than is necessary.
And so part of the solution is actually lowering the cost of borrowing, which is what South Africa pushed hard for during its G20 presidency this year.
The tangible outcome is that first, we've agreed on a conversation with Africa in the financial sector. Secondly, we've a declaration on debt, which means we're going to have serious conversation as the finance sector beyond our presidents on the issue of debt on the African continent.
If the G20 can fix the system and make borrowing fair, African countries can then invest in people instead of payments and finally give Africans a level playing field.